Hello guys, and today we'll be unboxing the Nintendo Switch OLED. Let's get into this. Hello guys, so we just recently got the Nintendo Switch OLED from Best Buy, and yeah, we're gonna unbox it. Okay, let's remove the tags. So yeah, this is what it comes with. So let's open the big meat up in here, which is the Switch OLED by itself without the Joy-Cons. Leave that there. Ooh, the new white Joy-Cons. So they had white or neon. I chose the white, and my brother's also gonna get the white Joy-Cons. So yeah, this is the white Joy-Cons that you will get with the Switch OLED. They think they basically are like the same. And that's my cameraman over there. Shout out to Dave. Hello. Okay, so yeah, this is the HDMI cable. Yeah, and this is what you get in the box. And you also get a power. You get like a AC power adapter, which pretty good also. I'm probably gonna put this dock downstairs next to the PS5, and so it matches with the PS5, which is pretty cool. That Nintendo went with this black and white panda thing. And this is the grip that you get with the Switch OLED, or pretty much any Switch. It's pretty much, I think, the same grip that you do get with the original OG Switch. So I actually have right now with me the OG Switch, and so I'm upgrading to the Switch OLED because I've been using that OG Switch for a long time, and I needed an upgrade, and I got, as I said, the Switch. So yeah, that's just what it comes with the Switch OLED box. Let's unwrap these Joy-Cons. Ooh, premium, very premium feeling. I like the feel of this. It's white color. Let's keep those there. I have my Switch here so I can transfer data. Okay. I heard it's, so this screen is OLED, so yeah. Whoa, this is like super glossy. The screen is so glossy. And has this cool little kickstand, I think. There's a kickstand in the back. It's a little hard the first time. It's not, I thought it would be much more smoother. It is like good, but like still it's not like super smooth. It's like, oh crap. It's like kind of hard to pry it out there, but yeah, that's the kickstand. Let's leave that. Okay, let's switch it. Oh god, this feels really premium actually. Whoa. The screen already looks so good. Dude, the screen is way better. And it's like, it has this matte plastic feel instead of it feels like the same matte plastic as that kickstand in this Switch, which this Switch is a bit more plasticky, I would say. It's not very high quality. This Switch, however, is very high quality Switch. Nintendo, oh my gosh, I can see the OLED already. That is so good. Just doing my Wi-Fi password right now. So I'm right now just doing this step, and I have it in tabletop mode. which tabletop mode I think will be finally useful instead of shit like the Switch, because that kickstand would just fall apart. So yeah. So I've been using it for the past couple of weeks, and I'm gonna be sharing my opinions about the console and my reaction to the first trailer and how it's pretty on the outside, but not pretty on the inside. And I also will be sharing what I've any problems I have, any cons, or any good pros that I have with this device. And I also will be telling you my verdict if this console is underrated and is really worth to upgrade from your old G Switch, which people are saying it's not worth it. My impression a year ago in 2021, when this trailer first dropped, before the Nintendo Switch OLED was announced, everyone thought it was a Switch Pro and would have 4K capabilities, which, like, I thought, like, why would there be 4K capabilities in, like, this small of a device? Like everyone already, has high expectations with, like, Xbox and PS4, but Nintendo usually is not really focused on performance and graphics, but it's more focused on how fun they can make or improve, like they did with the 3DS, which, yes, there was a 3DS XL, which I never really had any Nintendo consoles besides the Switch. The Switch was my first Nintendo console. It's been like, I think I got the launch OG Switch, not the 2019 red box model, which has that improved 4.5 hour to 9 hour battery, which I'm getting with this new OLED. So that's a bonus that I didn't get with my OG Switch. My OG Switch was getting really, I don't know, like old, like, it's like the fans would always kick up. They would not, like, stop. Even if it was turned on, it would still have, like, fan problems because of the many years I kept. And it had a lot of wear and tear, and I had many Joy-Con drifts, so I always had to replace Joy-Cons. Yeah, that's beside the point. I'm talking about the Switch OLED. So people are calling this not very a big upgrade, which everyone wanted, like, graphics and that, but the Switch OLED has as you can tell from the name, has an OLED display, and the screen is much bigger, and it has that new kickstand, which is actually pretty nice. I actually like it. So let's move on to my experience with the Switch OLED. So my experience with the Switch OLED is that I've been using it mostly in handheld. As I told you in the last segment, that I have been using the OG Switch. So what happened is, when it did launch, I didn't get it for pre-order because I mostly play my OG Switch in dock, so I never noticed the fan noise. But recently, after getting the new Xbox Series X in the video, which I will link below, and I also recently got the new PS5, which I'm going to be making a review maybe later this month. Stay tuned on that, or even later. Yeah, so Switch OLED, I didn't really find a need for it until later, when I, got into more travel places, and I don't really have internet, so I can't use the cloud gaming which you get with your Game Pass Ultimate subscription. The Switch OLED was a good upgrade for me because, first of all, it's been like, I think, 6 years since I got the regular OG Switch, and that Switch was getting really old. So let's move on to, that's just my past of my first Nintendo console. So let's move on to how I've been using this. So I have been playing this mostly in handheld mode, which it's pretty good at that, because the bigger screen is what you notice. Like, when people say, oh, the colors is going to be so vivid, and you should definitely look at this if you like the OLED. The OLED, I don't think it's really that big of a selling point. I mean, it is, yes, you can definitely notice the colors, but for an average consumer's perspective who really doesn't care that much, you probably won't notice the colors. But if you're an average consumer and you play a lot in handheld, that bigger screen is the thing that's very noticeable. and the kickstand is awesome. I think I was in like my parents. We were all going on a family road trip, and we were driving everywhere. So me and my brother as the Switch. So we just plopped the kickstand, which is so much better than my previous OG Switch's kickstand, which would just rip apart and fall off. And once I actually lost it. So it was like a few months or a few years until I actually found it, which is not very good for a kickstand. So they did very nice approach to the kickstand, which they made it like this, where the entire back is a kickstand. It's kinda, as a bit of a nitpick, it's kinda hard to push it up, but you know, it's a good trade-off, as I said. And Nintendo also showed that there was also going to be enhanced audio, which I haven't noticed much of a difference. It's barely a difference. So if you're hoping for any like amazing Apple-like audio, then no. I mean, maybe it's a little bit louder, or actually not really louder, I wouldn't say. I don't know how to say it, but I don't know if it's enhanced audio since I don't really do side-by-side comparisons. Oh, yeah. But I think it's okay. I'm not gonna do an audio test. If you're wondering, I usually do audio tests when I'm comparing audios. I'm not gonna do it for this because I don't think you would notice, and I don't think you would care, because you might probably be using Bluetooth headphones. So they kept the Joy-Cons the same. You just removed them. There's two things. They kept the same old, frigid design that's going to... I don't think it's actually just the internal cheapness. It's because of the design look. Usually if it had a rim around it, then it would be much more like, I don't know, durable. But these Joy-Cons are very wiggly, and they're very sensitive. So that's why usually when I'm doing handheld, I don't really play like Smash or those competitive games, which I just gotten used to. If I want to play a competitive game, then I would use the Pro Controller, like for Splatoon. And also, after a few weeks, my right Joy-Con here, it has been starting to get that little bit of wiggle, just a little bit of wiggle. This left one is perfectly fine. So the right Joy-Con has a little bit of problems, but I don't know, maybe that's the rails of this Switch, or just this Joy-Con's problem. So yeah, there are bound to be some problems, and I probably might get drifting, but there's actually a secret service that Nintendo has for repairing your Joy-Cons, which Nintendo doesn't want to like advertise it because they want people to buy $80 pairs. But the thing is, you have to have a special ID number right over here. Another nitpick that I do have to say about the design is the glossy plastic, which I don't like, Nintendo. I know you're trying to copy that PS5 theme, but the glossy plastic is very bad. Because it is so, I don't know, why couldn't you just stick with like something matte plastic or something? Like keep the same matte plastic design, but give us the bigger screen and OLED. Maybe they wanted people to like, have a much nicer, I don't know, easier experience to like hold it, the backside, and slip in, yeah, I don't know. So they moved the micro SD card slot over here, which I think it's going to be good, because before, when you open the kickstand of the previous Switch, it would be very easy to accidentally maybe, push it down and stuff. But I don't think I've had that problem with my old Switch, and this one, no problem with that. So, micro SD card slot works fine. Here are the buttons. So, they did redesign the buttons a little bit, but, I mean, it's kind of good. The one design that I did like is that the volume buttons remove that little gap between them. So when you accidentally click the gap, which I've done, I don't do that anymore. So because it's much nicer, it feels like the volume buttons of a phone or something. And then they changed the air gaps or ventilation yeah, they added some more better airflow, I guess, so that's a good bonus. And people are saying that the game card slot is kind of hard to remove. I think it's much easier to remove, maybe because I have very long fingernails, but either way, I mean, it also looks pretty elegant, the game card slot. It doesn't look like kind of cheap, which I felt like in the previous OG Switch that it felt really cheap. Like the back of it felt like some plastic, and I didn't like it that much. This new one has this nice matte plastic, like the kickstand on the old Nintendo Switch. I mean, the whole like OLED design, they kind of copied the PS5 pretty much. That's not a bad thing. That's kind of cool because I actually have the dock, which the dock is downstairs next to my PS5, and it color matches really well, which I like it a lot. I like how it does that. So let's move on to the gaming and actually movies, because this actually, now in 2022, we have Hulu and YouTube. So I did some tests with some YouTube content and I watched an LG OLED test, because those OLED video tests really show if a display is OLED, and this display is OLED definitely. But for gaming, I don't think OLED will like change too much unless your game is like NES and it's like a very dark game or something like that. Or it's Metroid Dread, which you might notice. I've tried that. I've tried it on my old Switch, but I haven't tried it on the new one. I have played some games like Splatoon, which has a lot of splashing colors and pop and vibrance. I also tried a lot of Animal Crossing, which the game is unbelievably addictive. Like it's addictive totally. But yeah, I like the game a lot, and some Zelda Breath of the Wild, which is actually a pretty good game. I haven't. I know people are gonna say like, why haven't you played the game in 2017? It's like the masterpiece, 10 out of 10 masterpiece. I haven't played it because I was not interested, and when I first tried, I didn't like it because, I don't know, I don't like open worlds because they make me alone, and it's very scary to be alone, so I just don't like it. So let's move on to why Nintendo really didn't need to make a Switch Pro, and I don't, in my opinion, why they didn't really need to make it, because uh, I think, Nintendo, they're more of, they're more family friendly, which everyone knows they're family friendly completely. Like, look at all their exclusive. Like, Animal Crossing is like basically an animal game where you like, and there's no blood. And then Splatoon is just a shooting game with like you're shooting paintballs, and a lot of family games, and it's great for like co-op and like locally, like 4 people. Yeah, Nintendo's audience is technically mostly regular average consumers or single people, or like kids, and it's mostly really a kid-friendly console that they're trying to sell, which I'm not saying it's only for kids. They're trying to sell for most people, and you can tell from their sales that they sold 110 million units compared to like PS5 only has like 20 million units. Yes, it sells at a faster rate. This thing had a 5-year cycle, and the new next-gen consoles, Xbox Series X and PS5, only had about like 2 years, but still. Yeah, and this game library on Nintendo Switch is amazing, and I think this Switch is like the best way to experience the entire game library. Yeah, it's just overall, it's just, yeah, the best Switch. Switch Lite, it's kind of weird why they would make this $350 and then have a mid-tier Switch, because at this point, just sell this Switch, because this Switch is anyways the better version of the OG Switch and Redbox Switch, and just keep this and the Switch Lite. But they did not do that. I would recommend people who are looking to buy a Switch, just go for this, even if you're like, you can save $50. don't save the $50. Just this is the outright better option as a console instead of the Nintendo Switch regular. It's so weird. Like usually that the regular Nintendo Switch used to be the best Nintendo Switch because Switch Lite had way less features than the regular Nintendo Switch. You could only play it handheld. My brother used to use that, but now because I got this, I passed down my Switch to my brother. So yeah, Nintendo is not really never focused on hardware. The Wii U, I think it was like 480p. It was weaker than the Xbox One and PS4. Definitely weaker. It was like Xbox 360 and PS. So even Nintendo Switch, when it did launch, it was like still underpowered than a regular PS4. But graphics aren't really the actual selling factor now these days, because graphics have just gone at like a limit. Like I don't know what they're gonna do with the next consoles after Xbox Series X and PS5. People are gonna be like 4K is like the max. Yes, there's gonna be 8K TVs later down the future, but still, 8K and 4K, I don't think you can notice that much of a difference unless you like pixel peep, which not average consumers are gonna do. Maybe some tech nerds might want to buy, but it's going to become niche to really get a console. And everyone's going to be looking at the handheld side, because improving a handheld console, like bringing 4K on the go, like maybe they might be right. Switch later down, maybe at like 2027, the Switch, will have like 4K capabilities, or at least 1440p. Nintendo is not like other consoles, and usually people never actually compare Switch to like PS5 and Xbox Series X. But yeah, I can see where the frustration is coming from, because you want that you want that powerful 4K stuff, and you want to bring it with you everywhere. But I mean, when you're going to places, like even to hotels, like your hotels won't be as good as your house, or But you mostly really, if you're buying a Switch, you'll probably be playing some Nintendo exclusives. So Nintendo, I think, is okay in this position of just maybe improving the hardware, but not like the internal specifications. But yeah, they're more, they don't really care about those small fanboys and stuff. I mean, yes, this can be hurting to some Nintendo people, but usually, like, this console is like $350, which is much cheaper than Xbox Series X or a PS5 with a disc. PS5 Digital Edition, I mean, it is cheaper, but are you really? It's kind of hard to buy that. That one's like the hardest. We didn't get that one, so we only got the disc edition. So yeah. I really like the upgrades on my Nintendo Switch Oled, and I'm probably going to be using it as my primary Switch for maybe the next 5 years. On Switch Pro, I might not get it. We'll just have to see. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed my Switch OLED video. Maybe I might do a 1 year later review with this, and see how it holds up, if it gets the same old dustiness and oldness and grossness as my old Switch. Yeah. But so far, I am loving it, and it feels premium, but it might look pretty on the outside, but in the inside, it's not so pretty. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and bye!